He was surprised by how easily his fingers slid across the phone screen, searching for her contact in his address book. He'd been wanting to do this every day, every minute, every second. But he hadn't, until now. Despite it consuming him from the inside, he'd been resisting the temptation all this time. They were like two junkies. Two junkies self-destructing, yet simultaneously possessing a deep and insatiable need for each other. It was never enough. A lifetime together wouldn't be enough, and that was precisely what had doomed them. It always happened the same way. They always hurt each other. It wasn't a loop, it was a spiral. With each turn, the wound grew deeper, more painful, and more real. A bleeding wound impossible to close. Naively, he'd believed he'd closed it, or at least that he was closing it. And yet, there he was, phone in hand, about to call her. He managed a faint smile, realizing he hadn't even stopped to think about what he was going to say. What did he want to say? He didn't know. He wasn't sure. He didn't care. All he knew was how much he needed to hear her voice, even if it was just one last time. He pressed the call button and waited for several rings. He heard her tremble as she called his name on the other end, and his heart began to beat strongly, full of life again. "I miss you. I need you." She was silent for a few seconds and replied, "I haven't stopped thinking about you for a single day. I'm learning to live without you, but I can't. Some days are easier, others harder, but you're always in my thoughts." "Me neither. You're always my first thought when I wake up and my last before I fall asleep," he replied. There was a brief pause, and he continued, "I should be holding you right now." "I wish," she said, "but we both know it's going to be difficult. I can come to your place." The silence was sharp and filled with pain. She declared, "We know you wouldn't be able to get there in time. The highway is closed. I have to try. I'm leaving now. The mountain path could take me much less time. Don't tell me you intend to cross that road with that piece of junk you call a motorcycle?" He smiled, and somehow she knew he was smiling even though she couldn't see him. And she told him he was crazy and that he was probably going to kill himself. "Probably. But what does it matter at this point?" he replied. "Finally, this is our last call." "Don't go on," he interrupted. "Let's not waste any more time. I'll come there to see you and hold you until the night is over." He rushed out of her house in such a hurry that he didn't even put on his motorcycle helmet. He headed straight to the outskirts of the city, towards the road that cut through the pastures of some rural farms and led to the old path where people used to go hiking in the mountains. He knew it would be a very arduous journey. As soon as he entered the path through the woods, darkness enveloped him. The dense vegetation made the dirt road very narrow. The undergrowth was hitting his arms and legs, but fortunately, he had put on his leather jacket before setting out, and it protected him from cuts. The terrain, besides being steep, was very rugged. There were rocks everywhere, and his motorcycle, just as she had said, wasn't the most suitable for that type of terrain. Despite the difficulties, he didn't slow down. He wanted to arrive as quickly as possible so they could enjoy as much time together as they could. He continued climbing the path, hoping to cross the mountain as soon as possible. Suddenly, the front wheel hit something and dug into the ground. The motorcyclist was thrown forward and landed painfully several meters away. Everything spun, and he hated himself for being so useless as to ruin the whole plan in such an absurd way. He should have been more careful and gone slower, and he should have worn his helmet. Everything spun, He didn't need to touch his face to know that the impact had caused a gash on his head and he was bleeding. He got up with difficulty and limped to the motorcycle. His knee hurt much more than the bleeding wound on his head. With a great effort, he righted the motorcycle. He went to one of the side cases and took out a small hand towel, which he used to wipe the blood from his face and cover the wound for a few seconds. He tried to start the motorcycle again. The engine sputtered several times, and after several attempts, it fell silent forever. "Fuck!" he exclaimed as despair and frustration enveloped him. He abandoned the motorcycle there and continued on foot, limping, certain he wouldn't arrive in time. A tear escaped him. He didn't want to cry, but he couldn't help it. Everything was ruined, and he was afraid. He was going to die. He lost all hope. He stopped in the middle of the path, in the middle of nowhere, and took out his cell phone. "No signal," he shouted. He cursed. He punched the nearest tree several times until his knuckles were pulverized. He closed his eyes. He took a couple of deep breaths and kept walking. And then he saw the impossible. A bicycle was hurtling down the rough path, ridden at full speed by a crazy woman who could be none other than his crazy woman. She reached him, threw the bike to the ground, and they melted into an embrace in which their hearts beat as if they were one. They veered off the path until they came to a small promontory with spectacular views of the open sky. They sat on a large, smooth rock, gazing at the incredible landscape. He noticed then that she was covered in scratches and bruises from the undergrowth along the path. "You should have worn something. A dress isn't exactly appropriate for a bike ride," he said teasingly. "Yes, but I brought a helmet," she said, smiling and pointing to her bicycle helmet, the one he always considered childish because of its garish colors. As always, their differences complemented them on every level. One always had what the other lacked. "How are you feeling?" she asked. He looked into her eyes and smiled. "Happy." "Me too, but also sad. I shouldn't have waited 6 months to call you. And I shouldn't have tried to go on without you. It's not necessary anymore. In the end, all of this has helped us realize what truly matters. And what matters to me is being with you, here and now. There couldn't be a better time or a better place because it's where you are. That's the most beautiful thing anyone has ever said to me. I'm not even afraid anymore." "Me neither." Still embracing, they gazed at the threatening sky. It was a moonless night, and the light from the enormous comet eclipsed all the other stars in the firmament. The sun wouldn't rise again. Soon the colossal space rock would impact, and it would all end incredibly quickly. There was nowhere to run, but they didn't care, because all they wanted was to be together until the very end. It couldn't be any other way.